Jesus. Oh my god. Ugh. Why would someone do that to themselves? Ugh. This is much easier. Oh, that was awful. Hey guys. So, it is finally that time, and it has been a long time, but the new season of Mad Men is just around the corner, and to celebrate, Estée Lauder is launching a new Mad Men inspired collection, which I have right here, and I'm going to be reviewing and showing you a little bit of a 60s inspired makeup tutorial. This collection features very vintage style packaging, as you can see right here. The boxes are almost wallpapery feeling. They're very cool and they feel very, very vintage. You open them up and you're going to see a gold pouch like this, and then this is the compact. Obviously this is the cream blush, and the color of the blush, by the way, is called Evening Rose. This is the compact. Push this little button, lift it up, you've got a mirror there and your color right in here. It's a very mid-tone, old-fashioned rose pink. The product itself is actually quite nice. The texture is very smooth, it's very creamy, it's not at all dry. The lipstick is called Cherry. I'll show you what it looks like. Again, you open up the package, it comes in a little gold pouch. Now, just as a frame of reference so that you can understand the size of this little guy, it looks very much like the Estee Lauder Signature lipstick, but this is the Estee Lauder Signature lipstick. And those of you who are familiar with MAC lipsticks, this is what a MAC bullet looks like by comparison. So you can see it is rather small, but any of you who might have raided your grandmother's medicine cabinet when you were a kid might recall seeing lipsticks like this. This is a very vintage looking lipstick, down to the size. This is the colors you can see, and this is called Cherry, and it is a very, I would say it's like a maraschino cherry red. Has almost a gel kind of a texture to it. It's very smooth, it's very comfortable, very moist on the lips, but it is not a really true blue red. It comes off a little bit more pink. It looks really nice, but you might want to wear a liner under it if you want something that's very vintage red. Now, I absolutely love these pieces, but I'm a big fan of the show. I like vintage makeup. It is definitely a product that you would get if you were a collector, but they're not bad products at all, and definitely you can get some use out of them. This blush is really, really nice. It's very, very pretty, and again, the texture is really amazing. Alright, now let's move on to the makeup tutorial. What I'm going to be showing you here is a very early 60s inspired but updated kind of everyday makeup look. This isn't quite mod yet. We're not quite there in the decade. A lot of you may recall my victim in this video, Jade Jericho. She showed up in my Modern Mercury video for Estee Lauder as well as the Christmas special. I've been spending a lot of time in the studio with her recently doing some production on her next album. She was kind enough to stick around one night and lend her face to this video, so I do really, really appreciate it. What I used to start this look was my own sort of hodgepodge primer, so to speak. I took a little bit of Estee Lauder's Advanced Night Repair and a little bit of their Beauty Benefit cream that just came out, mixed them together, and used it as a base for the foundation. Once that was smoothed onto the skin, I used Estee Lauder's new Invisible Fluid Makeup. Now, this is brand new. It just launched online and is turning up at counters now. You want to make sure that you shake this product really, really well before you use it. Fans of Vitalumiere Aqua by Chanel should check out the new Invisible Fluid Makeup by Estee Lauder. It's a very similar product. If you like the Chanel one, you'd probably like this one. One of the big differences between this and Chanel's foundation is that this does not have the overpowering fragrance that the Chanel one has. It also doesn't have the incredibly high alcohol content that makes Chanel's foundation, in my opinion, a big no-no on the skin. And once that foundation is blended into the skin, I just finished off with a little bit of concealer. I'm using Estee Lauder's Renutriv Intensive Concealing Duo. This one is in light, just in case you wondered. And after that, I set the look with a little bit of powder. I'm using Purely Cosmetics Diamond Perfect Finish here. This is by far the best invisible set powder that I've ever used. Very similar to Makeup Forever's HD powder, except this won't bounce light back and make you look all scary. Right, next we're going to go in and do the brows. I'm using just an angled brush here and Estee Lauder's Wild Truffle Shadow. This is very similar to Copper Plate by MAC. It's kind of a mid-tony gray with a little bit of beiginess to it. I really like using gray shadows, especially for blonde hair. I just think that it looks really nice and a little more natural than something that's too brown. Once I get the powder down, I go in with a little bit of a gel brow set. I'm using one of the ones by Anastasia. Spend some time on the brows. Make them look really nice. Don't need to make them perfect. Best advice I ever got about brows: they should be sisters, not twins. We've all heard that before. All right, now let's talk eyes. And this is an incredibly simple look. I am using all Estee Lauder shadows here, but you don't have to if you don't want to. The first color that I'm going to be using is Ivory Slipper. It's a satin finish. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it. It's a very ivory white. I'm going to be sweeping that across the whole lid from almost to the lash line up into the brow. After that, I'm using Sepia Sand, which is another satin finish shadow. This is going to be going across the whole lid and kind of sweeping outward. And that's really it for the eye. So next, if you might have guessed, is the liner. I'm going to be using Black Chromaline by MAC. This is my favorite gel liner. It's just very creamy. It's thicker than their fluid lines, but any sort of liner that you want to use, gel, liquid even, is totally fine. I'm doing a nice sort of up against the lash line. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, and it doesn't flick out or up too much. This is a very soft wing. It's not super dramatic. And once that was done, it was just several coats of mascara. If you want to curl your lashes, you can. If you want to use false lashes, you can. And then we moved on to the blush. Now I used a small stippling brush for this. You can use any brush that you'd like, but you don't need much product. You can layer it up, build it, add intensity, and if you've noticed, I'm applying this directly over the powder that I've already put down on her face, and it is working out just fine. Once the blush is done, the last thing to do is the lips. I'm going to line the lips with a red pencil. I'm using a MAC color. This is Cherry. Once the lips are all lined, I can go in and fill in, go over the top of that with the lipstick from Mad Men, which is also called Cherry. Once those lips are done, however, I sort of paid a small homage to the 60s, and instead of powdering the lip completely, I did a little trick here where you put a little tissue over the lip and then sweep some powder over it. This kind of mattes the lip down just a little bit, gives a little bit of a satin sort of a sheen, also helps to set the lipstick so it'll last a little longer. And that's actually pretty much it. That's all there is to it. It's not a very complicated look to do. You don't have to go this bold on the lips if you don't want. Using a nice neutrally sort of a coral or a pink, beigey kind of a color will look just fine. Even throwing some gloss on the lips will look just fine as well. Alright guys, that is it for me. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out the products. Let me know what you think. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section. I will do my best to get back to you. I hope you guys liked the tutorial. I hope you get some ideas from it. Let me know what you think. As always, until I see you next time, which will be soon, take care, don't smoke, and drive safe.